Hi, I'm Grandma Judy. I am 78 years old, almost 79. I'm getting old. See those wrinkles? What I want to talk to you about right now is being nice. I know it's such an easy thing to do, but we all need to be doing it. Why? Because there's just too much hate and nastiness in the world. So let's just not allow it. If you see a video or a movie or something that's all cussing and carrying on, turn it off. That's it. Just turn it off because that will tell the people that make the movies and make the podcasts and make the news that we don't like it. We don't want it. So just turn it off. I know, such an easy process. Being nice is really a lot of fun. It is. All you have to do is say, "Oh, have a nice day. I love your hair." Be nice. Can I help you with those groceries? It doesn't matter. Just be nice. Because being nasty and mean just is hurting us, hurting our souls, hurting our hearts, hurting our health. Why? When we have the opportunity to be nice. So let's do that. Let's all be nice. Let's do, let's say for a year. Because if we do it for a year, it'll become a habit. And that's what we'll do all the time. No, it is so easy. Nice is not a bad thing. Nice is fun. Ah, I wish I could say that I'm always nice because, well, sometimes I'm not. I get irritated at the clerk that can't figure out how to count change, things like that. But that's our school system's fault. That's not theirs. They weren't taught how to count change, they were taught how to use a computer. Well, I was taught how to count change and how to take care of myself in the world and how to work hard. And that's not something that's taught today. It isn't. It's like, why didn't you get those assignments in school? Well, I was talking to my friends and I just didn't have time. That's not a valid reason. That's an excuse. Yeah, no. Teachers have to have the ability to turn around and say, no, you're here to learn reading, writing, mathematics, history, science. Those things are important, and you'll find them very important through your life. If you don't know how to use a ruler, oh, you're really in a mess. So, yeah, it's really important to learn just very basic things, reading being the number one thing. And we're not really taught to read. You know what? They have completely cut out script writing now out of the schools. It's all printing. Printing takes longer. It's not as pretty. I don't think they're teaching grammar, punctuation, the sentence building. I mean, I think we need to help with that. We need to encourage our schools to do it, or we need to find a school that is doing it, or homeschool. No, we didn't have to worry about that when my kids were in school because, whoa, if they didn't do their homework, I got a call. And they didn't do it a couple of days, I got a knock on the door. Yeah, it wasn't allowed. And if my kids did something wrong in the neighborhood, I didn't have to worry about it because my neighbors would snatch them up by the back of their collar and drag them over to the house and say, he broke my pots on my front porch. Say, I am so sorry. Can I pay for them? No, he's going to come over here and he's going to clean it up and he's going to work for me every Saturday for a month to pay for new pots. I was like, okay, that sounds like a fair deal to me. And I would make sure that he went, did the work, if I had to stand there while he did it. Well, it doesn't take but one time of that for a kid to learn that they have to be respectful of other people's property, of being pleasant, of doing a job, of showing up. The same thing with school. They don't show up, knock, knock, knock. I know it would take no time at all. Now, I was lucky because we lived out in the country, and my kids literally went to a one-room schoolhouse. Well, it was two rooms. The downstairs was the cafeteria, the gymnasium, um, the meeting room for the community, all one room. And the cook was also our bus driver, picked up the kids. For those of us that lived over 2 miles from the school, under 2 miles, the kids could walk. I know it was just the way it was back then. Nowadays, you can't let your kids out of your sight. It's so scary. So we need to set up where we can walk our children or have neighbors all come out, stand out on the front porch and say, "Hi, Linda. Hi, Jeff. You okay?" They get to the next door. "Hi, Linda. Hi, Jeff. You're getting late." You know, wouldn't take any time at all for those kids to get to school because, well, they'd be embarrassed. And it would make sure that the predators and the bad guys stayed away. Why? Because they didn't want for bad people to survive. People kept you watching. And we need to be the ones watching. Yes, we do. And we need to watch our government. I understand now they're talking about banning hate speech. Well, I find hate speech offensive. I do. But I just turn it off. Why? Because I don't want to hear it. And if more of us just turn it off, bye bye, they'll stop doing it. They only do it because they get attention. We don't give them attention, they'll cut it out. But the government monitoring what we say and how we say it and determining what we meant by what we said, no, that's just not a good idea. Giving the government more power is wrong. The government is supposed to, by our Constitution, they're supposed to maintain a military, do the financials to so they can pay the bills of the government, like paying the army and that sort of thing. But they're not supposed to be telling us what to do. We're supposed to be telling them what to do. I apologize, but we've had a lot of fires around us, so I'm still a little hoarse. But all we have to do is make sure that the people around us are doing their jobs if we're paying them to do a job. And that's our congressmen, our senators, our legislators, our governors. If they're not doing the job we want them to do, we just vote them out. I know. We don't need to scream and yell and throw things and cause trouble. No, that's bad. We need to vote them out. And if we do that for just a couple of major elections, people change their minds. Because if they don't want to get voted out, they'll learn how to be nice and do their jobs, which is very important. Our federal government has a big job to do, but it's much bigger than our founding fathers intended it to be. We were supposed to be doing some diplomatic work, but mostly we were supposed to be taking care of the United States. I know, America first. That was our whole bias for our country, was we would set up and we'd go, okay, we need shipping. Well, then we need to build ports. And if we have ports, we need to have military there to support those ports. So we had needed a navy. I know. And then we have hurricanes and all of these bad things weather-wise and stuff that happen. So now we need a Coast Guard to help protect our shores and our shores from weather events and from bad people coming into our country. So now we have the Coast Guard. Well, we've had an army. We had an army. Did you know that? Before we had a United States of America? I know. George Washington's army was volunteers. Who would have thought it? Why? Because they wanted free speech, to be able to own their own homes and raise their families and practice religion however they felt it was appropriate for them and their families. We still believe that, don't we? I do. And I hope you do. And if you don't, I want you to think about it. Why do we have a government? We have a government because they're there to protect and serve us. We are not there to protect and serve the government. No, it's the other way around. They should be doing what we need. And part of that, a big part, is protecting free speech. So if somebody says something that you don't like, you don't disagree with, change the channel, walk away, turn them off. Don't listen to them. I know it's that easy. Not listening is the best way of controlling speech that you don't like. If people aren't getting the attention that they want, they'll quit doing it. It's pretty darn simple. Now, for me, it's life is a lot easier now because for the first time in my life, I don't have a job. Um, Not that I couldn't get one because there's so few people wanting to work that there's lots of jobs. I could go get a job, but I don't want another one again. I'm 78 and I've worked all my life. So now I'm having fun and I'm doing YouTube and I'm trying to get the word out that being nice is a good thing. Taking care of your family is really important. We need men to stay in our family. I didn't know what a baby daddy was or a baby mom. It was just mom and dad. I miss Leave It to Beaver sometimes. Where a family took care of their own and everybody worked and everybody got along. I know it was a utopian series and just pretend, but it really was the utopian series that we wanted for ourselves. You know, and we can have it to a degree. Now, we're not going to be all of our women walking around in high heels running a vacuum cleaner. I can tell you that right now because that's just silly. But we can be interested in our children. We can make sure they're doing their schoolwork. We can have a dinner on the table at a certain time so that they know that there's way everything is going to be regulated for them and they can expect to have somebody there for them. It's a big deal. I know. A lot of children today raise themselves, and raising themselves can be put them in harm's way because then the yahoos of the world can get a hold of them. The gangs, the bad influencers, the drugs, the alcohol, the thinking they don't need an education. All of those things can take effect and do take effect when mom and dad aren't there to make sure. And part of that is making sure they get up on time, they get dressed appropriately for school, they've done their homework, they have their books, and they get on the bus. Doesn't sound like a big deal, does it? But in today's world, it is. And when they get home, now sometimes, and I was guilty of this too, you couldn't always be home at 3:30, 4 o'clock because you didn't get off work till after 5:30. But your kids would have chores to do when they got home and they could get their homework done. And when I got home, I'd go in and I'd say, okay, everybody get at the kitchen table and let's see where your homework is. Oh, I've got it all done, Mom. Fine, show it to me. I know. And you know how I knew whether they were doing it or not? I went to the teachers, and the teachers would have a syllabus set up. So on each week, they would have certain assignments that they were going to be working on. Sometimes, as they got into high school, it would be a math teacher, an English teacher, a science teacher, a history teacher, just all the different pieces. And I think phys ed is really important too. Why? Because we need to be stronger in our bodies so we can be stronger in our minds. I know it's just a silly thing, but it's the truth. People don't pick on people that are strong in their bodies and in their minds. They don't. No. And but I really am concerned about the free speech thing that's going on today. We need to make sure that we control free speech. That's right. And we do it by simply turning it off. It shouldn't be a big deal. It's a small deal. All we have to do is change the channel, not watch the video, not spread the video. So if we want free speech, all we have to do is control it ourselves. It shouldn't be hard, because why do people say mean, nasty things and yell and carry on and all that? Why? Because we watch it. I know. If we went, oh, that's trash, and click, they wouldn't do it the second time, and certainly not the third or fourth or 24th. No. And if they're a politician doing it, we're just going to vote their little selves out. Because if they're not carrying on in their own head and in their own lives as decent and caring human beings, we don't want them in politics. No. And we don't want our government expanded out to something that it was never meant to be. It's supposed to be there to pay for the what do you call it? The military, the um, road services, I guess, are now included in, but they were never part of education. Um, we need the federal roads because we do need to be able to have interstate commerce today, which we didn't have when our founding fathers were there. So I can understand that part of it. But I'll tell you what, did you see when Florida had that horrible hurricane and the roads were out and the bridges were out and the people were stranded on little islands that are part of Florida? And they said, oh, it's going to take 3-4 years to rebuild them. Do you know what Newsom did? He called the military. He called the CBs and said, I need a bridge to that island. I have my people that are stranded. They might need medical care. They might need assistance. They're certainly going to need food and water and all of that. And the CB said, yes, sir. And they went out, and in 3 days, there was a bridge. Not 3 years, 3 days. They had a bridge. Was it the prettiest, gorgeous, most wonderful bridge in the whole world? No. Do you know what it was? It was functional. People had supplies. They could get out and go to the doctor. Basics for life. I really like Newsom. And I don't even live in this state. I live in Washington State. I'm not real crazy about my governor. And I vote against him all the time. But I live out in the country, and this side of the state is more conservative. But the coastal side, where all the population is very liberal. So we get people voted in that we don't want. But I think they're voting them in out of habit. Because if the good people got up and voted, the people that want a stable government, lower taxes, and protection, we would all be conservatives, right? So I'm asking everybody to control our government by our vote, not by riots and throwing things and shooting people and all of that. That's horrible. Horrible. I mean, we had a young man killed the other day because he was debating whether it was what our country was doing. and what our morals should be, and because he was a Christian. Oh my God, that is so wrong. Just makes me sad, and I sadden my soul. But I know that we have other people that will pick that up and will say, no, I believe in free speech and I believe in open debate. And we can have that conversation because we can change minds with common sense and through speech, not speeching at someone, but through debate and open speech. I know it is just such a wonderful thing. I wish I was better educated and smarter than I am. But I do what little bit I can, and a great deal of that's on YouTube. And with my grandkids and my great grandkids, and soon to be my great great grandkids, very excited. So please be nice, be kind, vote for conservative, or if I don't care what party you belong to, I just want you to vote for nice. If somebody's yelling and screaming and calling people names, don't vote for them. No. And if you have the feeling that you really want to do something for this country and you want to be nice and you don't want to scream and yell and you want our government to be more conservative, both financially and emotionally, run for office. I know. You're the type of person that we want to vote for. We don't want to vote for anybody that's yelling and calling people names. We don't. So please do me the honor of voting your conscience, having fun, loving your family, your neighbor, your community, your church, and our country, the United States of America. I thank you ever so much. I'm Grandma Judy. Oh, I forgot. I need to ask you to subscribe, um, like, and I forget what the name is, but pass this along to other people so that they can see it. Because there's something called the algorithm. I don't know about algorithms, but I understand that if they don't like what you say, or if enough people aren't watching, they won't pass it on to other people. And I want to have my voice passed on to other people so that they can think about being nice, having fun, loving our family, our church, our country. So important. And voting to protect those things. So I thank you ever so much. I'm Grandma Judy. Like and subscribe. Bye bye. And look, I always have to find that button